to you from KWDFW Metro Southwest. We sit just about 30 minutes straight west of Fort Worth, Texas. And so I'm coming to you today about pivoting your perception, about finding your energy outlet. We're going through so many different times. We're trying to grasp a hold of the world as it's changing. And the most important thing we can do is find a way to pause, recharge, and reconnect with ourselves. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of my story. I have Nala here with me. This is my 6-year-old bear, Nala, and Reba is down here below me, my trusted border collie, or actually she's a red heeler, but she is staying out here to help me today. I wanted to shoot this from on site from Don Banuelos Performance Horses here in Weatherford, Texas, in their wonderful arena, because this is where my mare stays all the time. And that was important because this is the place I get to come to and disconnect. This is the place when I come down here, I'm not thinking about anything else. I have to really pay attention to what I'm doing around the other people that are on their horses, and to my mare. And so to back up and give you a little bit of history of my story, I've been in Keller Williams for about 16 years now. We have the Terra Stark Real Estate Group here in Weatherford, Texas, a small team, and I started building that team about 4 years ago. When I got into the real estate industry, I came out of the cutting horse industry. That was all I had ever done in my life. That's all I ever wanted to do all my life. I went straight from high school straight into riding horses. That was my love and my passion. And so through the years of riding, showing, and competing in the cutting horse industry, and then, you know, life changes. And through divorce and a life change 17 years ago, there was time to make a decision. And that decision was to take care of my family and to provide for my child. And I was fortunate to be introduced to real estate. And at that time, I had to make the decision to give up horses. It was a smart thing to do. It was the right decision to make, and I'm so blessed that I did, and so blessed that real estate came into my life. And at that time, I proceeded to dispose of the few horses that I had. I actually gave 2 of my mares away, and I ended up with one old stallion who basically became my yard ornament. He subsequently passed away about a year ago. And the thought was never really to get back into the horse world, but I found myself working for the sake of working. Yes, I was a survivor, and yes, I had a lot to overcome. I came into this industry penniless and starting from nothing, and was renting a duplex, and so it was full steam ahead, survival mode. And then I didn't know how to get out of it. I did not know how to get out and step out and enjoy any time away. I always felt guilty for not working all the time. And there was always one more phone call to make, or one more deal to do, or one more property to look up. And so I found a void, and there was nothing to fill it. I began working out at CrossFit, and as you know, that's a highly accountable, highly intense, pressurized training. And I started that about 8 years ago. And through different times and energies of losing some mobility, slowed down with that. And then I kept searching again for something to unplug with. Reading has always been an outlet for me. Reading gives me energy. And I find myself, when I'm just consistently going through day in and day out, everyday monotony, that I can gain energy by reading. And so to that, I would tell you, you need to really know yourself and know what fills you up, and know how you gain that energy. I know that through this time that there's a lot of people that aren't getting to do the things that do fill them up. Depending upon where you're located, us here in Texas, and we're in a very rural area, that we are going to our horse barns, we're getting to go take care of these animals, we're getting to go do some of the things that are important to us. And that's not the case where some people live. And so you have to be ingenious about what it is that you are doing and taking the time to do it. You know, getting into the horse world back again started this past December. Actually, it started about 3 years ago. I put the dream of getting a horse again back on my vision board. My coach, my MAPS coach, actually challenged me that it might be possible. It might be possible to actually pursue that dream again. So I put it on my vision board, and I worked diligently towards gaining enough financial stability to where I was safe in purchasing a horse again and getting back into the industry, because it's a very expensive industry to be in, and I wanted to do it so I could enjoy it and not to where the stress of success was on top of me. And so this December I started taking a few steps to make that happen, and I actually purchased this mare the week before family reunion. Purchased her. She was loaded up on a trailer that day, went to a big horse show. I went to family reunion and then met them there straight after family reunion was over, and then just stepped on her and showed in an arena for the first time in 15 years. So it was so exciting, and it was such an adrenaline rush. And from that point, I actually went and showed 2 more times within a few short periods of weeks before the March 13th shutdown of everything. And it was, maybe some of you went through this. I know I did. It was kind of like, oh no, wait a minute, wait, God, this is not the way this is supposed to happen. I was finally getting to do what I was wanting to go back and do something for myself, and was actually having to relearn how to enjoy something. And it was like, no, I finally got there. And don't we always sometimes think we finally get there and that we should get to be coasting? I know how to survive. I have got grit and tenacity, but it was like, I don't want to. I don't want to have to go through this again. And so you go through those grieving moments, and I had a day or two like that, and it's like, okay, now what do I go do? And so it was put my head down, go do the things that Gary talks about doing. It's the lead generating, go back to basics, take care of our people. It was care calls. It was hurry and make care calls. And it was the hustle and hustle and hustle to gather your people and to check on all the agents. And then you find yourself again working 24/7. I found myself actually working more than I ever had. And that was because with our computers, and we're sitting at home, there's never any lead time of driving in or driving out of anywhere. There's no lead time of, I've got to stop and go get the kids, or I've got to go pick this up. And my horse is nibbling on me here, so I'm going to kind of try to move her. And so I found myself sitting with that computer, working all the time, and then the news was on. And it's, oh my goodness, and I had to finally stop myself and know that I needed to limit that time. I can check in on the news, but I don't need to watch it. And social media was the same thing. There's a lot of positive, but there's a lot of negative out there. And there's just as much news feed on that. And so I found myself being engrossed in all of that. And so I had to purposely make a decision that it's time to do the things that I know fill me up and give me energy. And so that was picking books back up again, on purposely setting time aside. And for a lot of you, you continue to work out in your garages, up and down the streets, in the empty courts, and of course and they've shut the courts down in some places. But running along the trails, I live in a rural area, and there's not really anywhere to run. I can run up and down the little short distance to the mailbox and back, but that's about it. I am very much a person that needs accountability around working out, so it has not been as structured for me. So the reading has been something for me that has filled me up. And then the horses. You know, I can just come by here as I was picking up different signs and taking lock boxes off of some of the places, and I would just stop by the barn and just walk in and wrap my arms around Nala here, and it just did something for my soul. And just to brush her off, take her outside, let her eat some grass. You cannot fill someone else's cup up if yours is empty, and we know that. It's the safety measures. It's take care of yourself first so that you can be there to support and help others. You know, we're in a service industry, and we're making care calls to people. We're making care calls to our clients, our friends, our families, and a lot of us have kids at home, and we're having to work at both ends of the candle, taking care of the kids, making sure they have their Zoom calls and their studies done. And then we've got to make sure that we're taking time for ourselves. And so I would challenge you to know yourself and to ask yourself, what is it that inspires you? What fills you up? What gives you energy? And for each one of us, that's going to be a different answer. But that's the challenge. And for some, they go get in their car or their Jeep. I was talking to someone this morning, they go get in their Jeep, they take their family, and again, we're in a rural territory, and they can put the top down and just go drive the back roads. And that gives them peace. You can let your mind go. And the key is getting into something that you can disconnect and let your mind go of all things, so that you're refreshed and recharged when you're going back in. And so if that's playing golf and you're not allowed to play golf right now, you may have to get ingenious about finding something that does give you energy. Certain people give you energy, and certain people will drain your energy. But yet I have found myself, when talking to folks, even if I'm just doing a check-in, everybody wants to talk about my business, which I'm thankful they're checking on my business, but sometimes it needs to be about something besides just business. For some, they can get engrossed in movies. For some, they can clean the house, just massively clean their house, and so they've got an exceptionally clean home right now because that gives them energy, and it's something they can do that's tedious, brainless work without having to go into business. Others said, you know what, I just need to get my hands dirty. I need to go out and garden. And it lets them unplug. It's so key for us to unplug right now so that we have the energy when we step back in and go back into the business, that we are ready for people. So, the question I would ask myself is, how can you come out on this, on the other side, better than you went in? Because here's the thing, time's gonna pass anyway. And what are you doing to build yourself up mentally and spiritually and health-wise that will have you better on the other side of this than when you came into it? So here's the thing. People need us. We are being pulled in many different directions. We have clients that are under a lot of stress. We have families that are under a lot of stress. There's a lot of financial stress out there right now. And so here's the thing. You need you as much as everybody else needs you. And you need to take care of you. And I would encourage you today to make certain you drill down and find out something that speaks to you, that fills you up. And if that's a friend and you can just go and just let it all out with them, that's fantastic. If it's screaming in a pillow, that's fantastic. Whatever it is, if it's working out 3 times a day, then do that. And you need to schedule it, and you need to know that you're going to do it, and it gives you something to look forward to, that you know you're going to have a release, and that you know by stepping in and doing it, even if you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway. Because we know that making the first step is the hardest. And once you make that step to doing something that fills you, that you're not going to stop. The brain will tell us you can't do it. The brain will tell you you don't have time. The brain will tell you you do not feel like it. But if you do it anyway, it'll fill you up. I promise you. And so I hope that this has made a difference for you today. And I know the people that surround me and what fills me up. My challenge to you would be, just do it, schedule it and do it, and know that you'll be better. And hey, if y'all ever need anything, you call me anytime. I'd love to share more with you about Nala and our adventure. Love to help you with mindset, love to help you with any of that anytime. Just give us a shout. Thanks so much, and y'all have a fantastic day.